What is up, people? Welcome back to Blue Chip Prospect for another video. Today is the first of the top 10 series. Sun's out, guns out, top 10's out. Before we start this, one thing that is important to understand is that this is not a top 10 shooter video or who has the best shot video. It's a top 10 goal scorer video. So there's more to it than just the shooting attribute. Some players might come to you as a surprise, but I'll explain myself within the video. So since that one is longer than I would like, no chit chat. Let's get this started right away. So, as always, there's always some good players who have a chance to become good goal scorers in the NHL but can't quite cut it for this list. I always do a top 10 plus some honorable mentions, but even then it wasn't enough. Some players like Emil Hemming, John Mustard, Sacha Boivin, Maxime Massé didn't make it, but definitely could have been in the honorable mention, but I didn't want to have as many players in the honorable mention as I have in the top 10, right? So first off the board is Terick Parascak. So while he did score a ton of goals in the WHL for the Prince George Cougars, he is not a scorer in the purest sense of the word. There's a guy who commented on one of my videos saying he wanted Parascak with the Jets pick for the Habs because he felt like he was a future Gallagher replacement, and it made all kinds of sense. Obviously, playing like Gallagher in the NHL and in the WHL are two different things, but that's what Parascak is right now. I also think that he's a more well-rounded player than Gallagher was, or at least project with better skating and better playmaking abilities. In terms of goal scoring, he's a player that's simply better without the puck than with the puck. He anticipates plays really well and times his route to the net as well as I've seen. I haven't seen every single one of his goals, obviously, but from what I've seen, the vast majority of it are rebounds and backdoor plays. Some restore here and there, which isn't bad at all, but doesn't strike me as an above average tool in the NHL. I do appreciate how he isn't just standing there in the crease for rebounds though. He times it and he gets there at the right time to bounce on rebounds. I think the way he plays is very projectable. How much of his offense comes from playing with two 20-year-olds with more than 100 points or close to? That's the real question. So the second honorable mention is Michael Hage, and Hage is a player that I like quite a lot. He's not a favorite, but he stands out and I think he's really good. But the thing is that I don't always feel like I have a good grasp on the USHL. But anyways, Michael Hage looks like the real deal to me. Every time he jumps on the ice, he makes things happen, and he can make them happen in many different ways. He sometimes plays with tempo and pushes the pace with his skating to create offense. Other times he uses his great stick handling to open space and buy time for a shot or a pass. He loves to beat defenders out wide with a typical move where he just leans on them, put the puck under their stick, and shoot in close. He's definitely more of a dual threat than just a goal scorer, so if this was a top 10 dual threat, it'd be higher in this list, but it's not. So while I like his goal scoring, I think there's work to do on the release to make it quicker and more compact to be released in traffic, but definitely there's potential there. And the third honorable mention is one of my favorite players in this draft, and that's Yegor Surin. Surin is really something to watch, and while he's not the most individually skilled player out there, especially his handling, he plays hard, he hits hard, he shoots hard, and he attacks with pace on every single shift. If he makes it to a middle 6 level player or more in the NHL, he will be a fan favorite for sure. He's not the best skater or the most fluid skater out there, but he gets going and he can receive pass on the move to push the defense back. He cuts to the middle of the ice all the time, sometimes as fast as the second he enters the offensive zone with the puck, and he cuts to the middle following the blue line and he moves down from there. But one way or another, he's either cutting to the slot or leans on defender to push himself to the net. He often plays and shoots the puck with players on his back, but he's very solid, so it's no issue for him. I also think his shot is above average, so while he doesn't really shoot from distance, he does have a powerful shot. No need for space or time, he can rip one with barely any time or space because he has a fast and low movement release, and he's also really good at shooting one-touch shot. If there's an opening and his teammate can get the puck on his forehand, he will one-touch shot the puck into the net, no handles, a la Cole Eiserman. So definitely a lot of potential there. While I am not the biggest fan of Michael Brandsegg Nygaard and probably won't be beating the drums for my team to pick him, I can recognize the talent and the appeal. He's on the bigger and heavier side, he competes really hard with and without the puck, and he has a good shot, or even a really good shot. He didn't have a fantastic production in the Allsvenskan, or whatever how you say that, but he's been killing it in the playoff and almost a point per game. You know GMs will like that. It's not an easy league for an 18-year-old. To put it into context, he's having a better production than Dvorsky had last season. In terms of goal scoring, I think he's really good at playing off of his teammate and reading the plays. I like how he moves the puck and initiate give and goes to get into open space, to get a hard shot on net with time and space and a clean look at the net. But he also tries to shoot the puck when completely surrounded with bodies and stick, and for now it works, but not sure if it's going to work at the next level. On every shot from the point, he also converged to the net to jump on rebounds, and he's never too far from the inside. Like, I don't want to get into scouting report territory, but he looks like a sure shot two-way NHL player that can slot in the middle six, maybe top six if everything works, that plays with confidence, works hard in all three zones, and can score a goal. I think he has the most solid NHL shot of every players in the honorable mention. I just would have liked to see a little bit more to slot him in the top 10. Before we keep going with the top 10, please take the time to like and subscribe if you like what I do, and especially if you come back to watch your favorite prospect. It helps me grow the channel and reach more people who could be interested in this type of content, so please like and subscribe. Also, if you're interested, I'm basically taking my video content and make it into articles on my brand new website. I also try to stay as close as possible to what I said in these videos, so if you want to come back to some info about a player, you can just go to the website, click the player, find the section you were looking for since it's separated by attributes just like the vids, and get the info you wanted just like that. It's magical. The website is thebluechipprospect.com if you want to go take a look. Let's get back to the top 10. Alright, so finally, it took 6 minutes to get there, but we arrived at the top 10. Gotta work on cutting the fat on those things, but anyways. At number 10, I have Igor Chernyshov, and it doesn't look like it when we look at the stat sheet with 3 goals and only 4 total points in the KHL compared to a guy like Nikita Artamonov who has 23 points in 54 games, but Chernyshov is a threat. There's no other way to put it, he's just a threat. They both didn't get the same level of opportunity, or at least the same level of consistency within their opportunity to play in the KHL, but opportunity or not, Chernyshov is a dangerous player with the puck on his stick. He has very good size, very good skating, very good handling and shooting, and uses all of those combined to play through traffic. He didn't look out of place against men in the KHL when given enough time to get the ball rolling. I might live to even regret putting him so low in the list, but I gotta make decisions at some point. When he's at his best, he has all the tools to become a goal scorer in the NHL that plays with power. He never stays in periphery, always trying to open space in the middle of the ice or find space in close. If given a little bit of space, he has a very good wrister to beat goalies from distance. So all in all, he's competitive, he's big, he skates well, he handles the puck well in tight areas, he uses his body to create space and shield the puck, shoot well, and plays within the middle third of the ice. There's a lot to like and there's a lot to project. And at number 9, I have Terevor Connelly. This one might come as a surprise to a lot of you since he's mostly described as a playmaking winger, which I won't argue with, but just like Michael Hage earlier, he's a dual threat with an even better shot and probably even better everything actually, outside of maybe physicality given his 6'1" height and 160 something pounds frame. The thing with Connelly is that he's just as good at playing one-on-one and create space with his fantastic handling as he is at using his skating to beat players all over the ice. He tries every dangerous shot that he can. He can hit the tiniest targets even when close to the net. He has a great release with a lot of lateral movement on his curl and drag wrister. He likes to get into open ice with momentum to receive a pass and hold his release just a little bit, to using his momentum to move towards the center of the ice to release a clean and very dangerous shot. If there's a player that I can see moving up this list significantly within the next 5 or so years, I think he is that player. He has every tool in the box to become a dual threat top 6 or even top line winger. Once he fills out his frame with a bit more muscle and plays at around 180 or 185 if he can get there, he'll be very dangerous. He's competitive, he's super skilled, he's definitely top 10 skilled, he drives to the net when he needs to, he leans on defenders. Now it's on him to make it happen. And at number 8, I have Justin Poirier, and there's no way someone can make a top 10 goal scorer list and not put Justin Poirier in there. The guy has 51 goals in the Q over the season. It's the most in the QMJHL, including every player of every age. I understand the concern about his height at 5'8", but the guy is a bulldog. He's strong on every puck, he goes to the board to win battles, and he does. He hits player, he gets body positioning to extend play in the offensive zone, goes to the net for deflection, bounce on every loose puck. The guy plays like he's 6'3", but he's 5'8". Unless you are out of this world skilled like Caulfield, you need something to bring you to the NHL as a smaller player, and while he doesn't have Caulfield's hands or Caulfield's shot, probably not even close really, he plays a much harder game and is also much heavier at the same age. He's already like 180 and Caulfield was something around 160, 165. And when I say he doesn't have Caulfield's shot, I'm not saying he has a bad shot at all. I would put him somewhere close to Brayden Yager from last year's draft in terms of strength and in terms of style. He has that pendulum on one leg type of wrister when he's on the move. Other than that, he can pick corner and waits for traffic to create blind spots for the goalies and shoot the puck between bodies and stick. I don't think he has the most versatile shot out there, but the way he plays kind of make up for it, and the fact that he's always open will sure help him score goal at higher levels. Wherever there's open ice, you can bet your house this is where he's going, making himself an easy pass target and giving himself time to shoot uncontested, if you will. And at number 7, I have Ivan Demidov, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Demidov is basically in a tier with the next 2 players after him. I couldn't really decide and changed the order about 100 times, so you can just switch them as much as you'd like. The thing is that Demidov could definitely end up close to the top of this list, Kaprizov style, in the next 5 or 6 years, but it's very hard to project his MHL production compared to other players like Catton or Iginla, to name a few, and his skating won't help him get there. So while he has a shot that's clearly above average to me, it's not high-end, it's not elite by any stretch, at least not at this moment. But at the same time, he's one of the smartest players in the draft, while also being one of the most skilled players in the draft. He can navigate through traffic to get a look on net with the puck on his stick better than anyone in the draft. He gets to open ice and read play as well as anybody in the draft. He gets open for a shot after each pass he dishes out, and when he has it, he has a quick release that can fool goalies and also has some serious movement on it. I said this in my full report on him, but every shot is rolled to the inside. He's not much of a pick corners from the outside type of shooter. He curls every single shot for a better angle on net. He's also a versatile shooter with a great one-timer, a good shot in motion, and bounce on every rebound to make a play out of it or slide it in the net. So he's definitely more of a dual threat like Connelly, let's say, than a pure goal scorer, but the goal scoring tools are undeniable in my opinion. And at number 6, I have Liam Greentree, and the fact that Greentree created 36 goals for himself on a team that was second last in the best junior league in the world by far is a testament to how good he is. When I made the full report on him at the beginning of December, most ranking had him in the late 20s, and I strongly disagreed at the time. I said that I expected most report to move him up to the first half as we get closer to the draft. There was a lot less ranking at the time, but every ranking there was moved him up in the first half, some with some pretty spectacular jump. He's been fantastic, so it was to be expected. There are elements in his game like his skating that needs a lot of work, but he has a great shot. His shot in motion got better and better as the season went on. The release is fast wherever he gets the puck, and the shot is powerful and accurate. He did take a little too much space and a little bit too much time to release the puck in the first half of the season, but he got better at releasing it quicker and tighter in traffic. He gets to the hard areas, and he's probably the best rebound shooter in the draft, at least from the players that I've seen. He doesn't miss on rebound, and he get on the puck and shoot it hard every single time. Right now, on his team, he's pretty much alone and every plays are individualistic, but if he can get an off-puck game and make quality reads when he plays with better players, he's going to be something. Right now, it's a bit of an unknown, but I'd take that bet every day. He has so many tools, big body who plays the inside with a great shot, who wins his battles and get to every loose puck. There's a lot to like, and there's more to add when he gets better teammates. And at number 5, I have Berkly Catton. So look, Catton has 54 goals on the season. That's third in the last 25 years in the WHL. Not that it means that much, but it means at least a little something. I see Catton a little bit like I saw Jarvis in his draft year, with maybe a little bit less physicality, but maybe a little bit more everything else. And just like Jarvis, where almost every shot came from the inside and close to the net, The same can be said for Catton. I'm not sure he shoots from as close to the net with consistency, but always from the middle unless it's a one-timer. He has a fantastic release, and he can get very good power behind his shot with very little forward motion, which is why he's been so successful at shooting from traffic and getting the puck on net instead of being deflected. How he will translate in the NHL and how he will be able to play through contact and bumps is a question mark, and there's some significant work to be done in the gym to fill out and get heavier and be able to withstand the physicality of the NHL, but the skill and the will is there to create looks from the slot and score from there. He also has a ton of lateral motion on his curl and drag shot, not as much as a guy like Demidov, but more than enough to drag it around sticks or around pads and change the angle and full goalies. He plays with a ton of pace in his offensive game, so he can create a lot of space playing with his speed and explode off coverage. In the end, I don't think the shot itself is all that special, but where he shoots from and how he creates space for himself is how he could bring his scoring touch to the NHL. Like I said earlier, I don't have much of a preference between Catton, Greentree, and Demidov in terms of goal scoring, so every day I can change my mind on who goes where at 5, 6, and 7, but they're all good. And at number 4, I have Cayden Lindstrom, and Lindstrom scored at a pretty crazy clip before he got injured. 27 goals in 32 games was pretty spectacular, but he scored at 23% clip overall, and he had 9 power play goals in basically half the game as Tij Iginla, who had 11 power play goals on the season. So there's definitely some question marks, but in Lindstrom's case, if plan A doesn't work, there's plan B and there's plan C in terms of goal scoring. When I made my full scouting report on him, I had to delay it a little bit because so many of his goals came from him using his giant 6'4", 200-something pounds frame against junior player and scoring a ton. I saw a glimpse of a great shot here and there, but decided to watch a couple more games before releasing the video to make sure it was really something that was present in his game, and it absolutely is. I haven't seen it in every game that I've watched, but he has an absolute devastating shot. He can rip some of the most dangerous wrister in the draft. I didn't give him an elite grade because I didn't see it enough, and then he got injured and left for the rest of the season. So it's not going to change, but he definitely has an NHL shot and an NHL release. He can just come down the wing and shoot a laser with very little forward motion and beat goalies clean from distance. And like I was saying a little bit earlier, he has a high-end B game. If he end up forgetting he has a high-end shot, he's amazing around the net and has the size to be disruptive. He's always positioned in a low slot for rebounds and backdoor plays, and he also goes close to the net for a 1- and 2-touch shot and close. What's great about players like him is that they bring many layers of goal scoring. Maybe not the greatest shot in the draft, but if one game or so it doesn't work, he can always fall back to crashing the net and being disruptive around the net. And on number 3, I have Tij Iginla, and after watching some of the playoff, I decided to bump his compete to a 7 instead of a 6. I think he does deserve to have a higher compete grading, but I still don't buy the high-end or elite competitor coming from different places. I think somewhere in the middle of high-end and average is the right place to be. The shot itself is close to as good as it gets. He has one of the cleanest release in the draft, and the puck is gone in an instant. He has a very versatile shot from one-timer to drag shot and wrister in motion. He can beat goalies basically from anywhere in the offensive zone. Like many high-end goal scorer, he's really good at finding open space and gaps in coverage for him to jump in and shoot. Even when pressure closes down on him, he has excellent hands and tight to make defenders miss and give himself some time and some space to work with. But he can really score in many ways. He's also a master redirector. He's extremely accurate with his redirection. He cuts to the net and bump the puck in, or he cuts to the inside to release from the middle or curl the puck around a defender and shoot with a better angle. Overall scoring is by far his best quality. Not that he can't pass or he's bad at it, but definitely his scoring touch is a couple tier above everything else in my opinion. It's hard to see a world where Iginla isn't scoring in the NHL. Nothing is ever a sure thing, but he seems to have every tools to succeed at higher levels, but he also has the hockey sense to bind it all together. And at number 2, I have Macklin Celebrini for obvious reasons. He now has 32 goals in 37 games in the NCAA, which is the most goal by a draft eligible player ever in the NCAA. It's more than Fantilli, it's more than Eichel, it's even more than players like Carrier back in the days. Obviously at this point in the list, we can expect a guy with an incredible shot, and he's no different. Like all elite shooters. The release is instantaneous and compact. The puck explodes off of his stick with dangerous velocity and power. He's as accurate as it gets, and he can hit the tiniest targets from distance. But I think what separates his goal scoring ability from everyone else before him is his ability to hide his intentions, his ability to sell a pass until the last second, or to delay his shot by a fraction of a second to fool goalies and mess with their reaction. And while he's inside driven, he's not the most inside driven shooter in this list at all, and he still scores that much. He has that type of shot to beat goalies clean with shot from the outside, using a mix of misdirection and shooting through traffic to catch the goalies off guard. Just an unstoppable shot overall. Even his backhand is crazy good with power and accuracy. He can shoot and put it in with some serious distance on the backhand, and his one-timer is just devastating. He has no holes in his goal scoring games, and it's only 50% of his offense. The guy is the definition of a dual threat offensively. And at number 1, I have the one and only Cole Eiserman. And I know, or at least I think, that most people wouldn't have him number 1 anymore, but I'm still a big believer in his skill set. Out of every players in the draft, he has the most versatile and the best shot out of anyone overall. There is no puck he cannot shoot with force. It doesn't matter if it's flat on the ice or not. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly placed or if it's behind him. It doesn't matter when coming down the wing if the puck is in his skate or next to his toes. Every puck is a dangerous puck. There's absolutely nothing he cannot convert into a laser beam. And it's not just his ability to make something dangerous out of everything. It's also that all of the shot selection is a dangerous weapon. Is there anyone who can slap that puck on the one-timer like he does? Absolutely not. Is there anyone who has a devastating one-touch or catch and release shot from in close like he does? Absolutely not. Same thing with the shot from distance. Nobody is as dangerous like he is from long range or mid range. Everything about his shot is elite, and he couples that with great hands in traffic and his ability to hide his release within his puck manipulations. Like Celebrini hides his shot by selling a pass all the time. Eiserman hides his shot with quick hands movement. It's different. I understand he's not everyone's favorite anymore and that he's pretty one-dimensional, but he's the best at this one dimension. There's no other goals per game player in the US NTDP. There's him and Caulfield in their draft year, and there's Kessel in his draft -1. I don't know for Kessel because it's too far away, but I think he has an even better shot than Caulfield, and he's also much bigger and heavier on the puck. But I don't think he's as dynamic offensively, so we'll see how it goes. But I would certainly bet on Eiserman becoming the best or close to the best goal scorer in this draft. So there you go. That's my list for the best goal scorer in the draft. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments what is your top 10. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.